Dun, 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 dun. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this live video broadcast on basically a few ways to make money while you're at home in quarantine or just at home in general. So let's get right to it. We're a little bit early right now, so I'm gonna kind of linger a little bit while we wait for some people, or at least wait for the time. But generally, what we're going to be going over are just a few ways that I have learned over the years and ways that I personally have made money while at home or while not doing anything. There's been lots of ways, or there's been a lot of research and a lot of different methods, and there's tons of different things that you can do to do it. You just have to do your research, figure out what works for you, and figure out how much time and dedication that you want to put into doing whatever it is you're doing. And essentially, just like anything, it's going to take effort, it's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of perseverance and a lot of hard late nights or early mornings, whichever way you go. For me, it was late nights. So as far as the length of time that this is going to take, I have no idea. We're just going to go through a couple pointers over here that I got and go through it all and see how far we get and what we do. So get some tea right now. Okay, I think the biggest thing for me in the entire venture of doing this or living a lifestyle where you don't actually go to a place to work. The biggest thing that's probably going to be the hardest transition is going to be the staying at home part and figuring out a routine that works for you while just being in the same space that you normally live in. So that is going to be, for most people, a really hard transition, especially if you live with other people. If you're by yourself, then you have the opportunity of getting depressed. Not opportunity, but you have the temptation, and it not really temptation. It's more just like a thing of just being alone. That's something that's hard or can be hard. And I know that what worked best for me was just getting out of the house, walking, exercising, doing that sort of thing. So yeah, but anywho, that was probably the biggest thing. But hey, every venture, everything comes with some sort of price or sacrifice or something, unless you're getting paid for the thing that you love doing the most. But even things that you love doing, eventually you kind of want to, venture into something else and do something else. You still love the thing that you love, but you do, and you can get burnt out of it eventually at some point if you just fully go for it all the time. Okay, so we're gearing up on 5 minutes here. We're almost, gonna get started. But anywho, yeah, right now, as far as where I am at, I've been through about 10 years of living this way. And I was single for a lot of that time. And then I got married, and the working from home and everything was, it became a little more challenging just because of the entire transitioning, not only of getting married, but also just living with another person and figuring out a routine, because my old routine wouldn't work as well. And so that was a transition that I had to figure out, and we're still figuring it out, because you're always figuring out how to become more efficient, how to become better, and how to really pursue and keep each other's interests at the same peak, or at least as close to that as possible, while maintaining the same general structure of what you need to keep working and keep doing what you need to do. Now, the reason why I got into this whole making money online thing was generally because I grew up with the whole dream of you see a need, you fill a need, that's a movie quote, but see a need, fill a need. But essentially, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to help people. I wanted to create a product or service or something that would help change the world, or at least in a very small way, help employ people, but at the same time, the company could have enough money to where it could change the world and help people through that. So there's a lot of different aspects. There's a lot of different mindsets and transitions that you have to kind of go through when, even though it may not seem like you're making a difference, or your business or service or whatever it is not making a difference, then it doesn't mean that it's not going to, or that what you're doing is meaningless in any way. I mean, for it, a lot of things, a lot of owners, a lot of CEOs, a lot of people that start projects, a lot of freelancers that are online, everyone who's doing something but not actually being one-on-one with the customer, or being in a like a service position, or like a child care or a care type of position, you don't usually see the reward. You don't usually feel the oh, I really helped this person right away. You can go on and on and on and don't know if you're making a difference or not. And so that can be, I know for me, that can be, or has been, a challenge in the past to really see what am I making a difference? Is what I'm doing, does it even matter? And you really have to dig deeper in what that actually means to you. Are you looking for a one-on-one, that kind of smile, that kind of like joy that you see on people's faces when you help them, when you interact with them? Or if you look deeper, think about how your product or service actually helps the person. You may not actually be interacting with them, but how does it help them, and how they're using your product or service helping other people that they might be helping? It just kind of snowballs down. And when you start to think of it like that, then you realize, wow, I've actually made a difference in a lot of different things in a lot of different people's lives. And I become somewhat essential. I mean, if you think about any of these big, huge brands, then like Apple or Microsoft or Google, all three of those do not have, like, the CEOs. Well, I mean, sure, some of them do, but the employees and the people working, they are not one-on-one with us users. They're not the customer support people are, but most of the employees are not one-on-one. So they don't get they don't know if, how much they're making a difference in the lives of millions of people, because they're making devices like this, like Windows, like Google, and everything possible for us to use. And just how, and I know that you take things like this for granted, but at least I have, and you don't realize, or maybe not, like, thank you and all that isn't really a big thing, but it's like they have made a huge impact on our lives and given us a service and have provided that to us, and how that has been so impactful to us. So that's the thing I would say. Whenever you're starting your business or your service, or trying to figure out something to provide, never put yourself down. Never say, oh, this is not going to make a difference. This isn't going to help anybody. This isn't going, like, I'm just this small, tiny little person. I don't have anything to offer. That's not true. You do have something to offer. You know a skill, something, a service, something that that you could provide that to a person, and they could take that, run with it, could, you potentially change the world on that big scale, just knowing and just learning from you. And that is huge. So anyway, it is now 4. So we're going to go ahead and get started now. Basically, ways to make money online. There are a bazillion ways to make money online. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. So don't get overwhelmed when you go searching on the interwebs on how to do it, because first of all, there's just about every way that you could really think of other than going outside and working somewhere. You can basically turn that or flip it into some sort of online business or service. So I think the better question, instead of how do I make money online, should be what do I have to offer? What do I know? What kind of skills do I have? What do I like to do? If you like, it can even be a physical activity. You know, if I like mowing the lawn, then you could create some sort of video training or whatever on how to mow the lawn, you know? And it's not saying that people would necessarily buy that so you could make money on it, but you could potentially use something like that to build, you know, a social media account or something like that. And then you can leverage that social media account to make money in terms of different ways, like a course or something like that. Thinking about what you can do with, if you know programming, if you know how to write, if you know grammar, if you are a school teacher and you might not be working right now, there's tons of ways that you can still do what you like and love to do. There are a lot of websites and services out there that offer online programs to teach kids in other countries and stuff, like English and other different ways and other different things. So you can definitely go check those out and get in on those, because that's a way to put your own skills. But I think the real question is the real thing that needs to be talked about is when you go on Google and you just search make money online, you're going to be bombarded with a ton of very bad, spammy crap. So I would say do not necessarily do everything that you read. I would go and make sure, you know, search it up on YouTube on here, or ask someone else, like someone you know, have they done this before? If you can find credible people that are saying that they have, because there are a lot of YouTubers that do claim that they know what they're talking about, and then they send you to this place to go buy a course or go buy something. Don't fall for that either. Just search it up. If it's a legitimate thing, then there should be lots of forums. There should be a Reddit on it or something like that that gives it some sort of credibility, and then you can look into it a little bit more and figure it out. But I would say the best way to just really get started is just make money in general, or just to try something out. First of all, when I say try something out, I mean, I don't mean do it for a day and then wait. I mean, try it out for 3 months. And that's what I mean by try it out. If you don't get anywhere in 3 months and you've really put your heart into it and you haven't gotten anywhere, then maybe it's not for you. Maybe, or there's something that you're doing wrong and you need to reach out to somebody about it. So I would say at least try it for 3 months. But a few things that you could try is freelancing. So basically, and obviously you've heard of this before, probably, there's freelance sites out there. There are a lot of, there's a lot of competition in them. And usually the ones with the good ratings are the ones that really get picked. So it is a little harder to get into that and to actually start. But once you start and you have a really great profile with a lot of great reviews, at least like 10 or 12 reviews or more is always really good. And at least if your price is good, then you'll already be good to go. And if you're just getting started with that, I would say you reach out to other people, like reach out to different jobs and everything with your profile. You know, when you're in your introduction and everything, just explain that you are new to the platform, you have this much experience in this, and that you would be willing to do whatever the job is for. Give them a little bit of a discount, so they have a little bit of an incentive to actually choose you over other people, and even offer maybe to do, if it's like a reoccurring job or a bigger project, just offer to do some of the project for free maybe like something like the first 5 hours is free, and then you can review my work. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it. And then that's a way better incentive for an employer to really kind of consider you and maybe give you a chance. Another thing I would say is think about what skills you have. Think about if you are used to working a 9-to-5 job, think about the skills that you have, or even if you're just a college student or somebody and you're just looking for money, just think about, okay, what have I learned? What have I learned over the years of just being alive? Because chances are there's a lot that you know that you could utilize, put into some sort of video course format and sell it. Because there's tons of people looking to learn new skills, especially worldwide, from people that know what they're talking about, that have good quality videos, and that are willing to teach them and respond to their comments and everything. So I would say definitely look into that. There's sites like Skillshare. There's other sites like that, but Skillshare is a really great one that you can try out with, and you can sell courses and stuff there. And as far as like quality goes, I would say, don't stress out so much on quality. Don't stress out so much on, oh, it needs to be a super professional video. It needs to be so like, put together and all that. It really doesn't. I mean, you can just use your iPhone to film whatever it is. Just make sure the background is okay. Make sure that you know what you're going to talk about. Make sure you at least have some kind of written down structure, and then you'll be good to go. So courses, doing a course, you can do a 10 video course on whatever the skill you know. So for me, I know how to program games. So I could do a short 10 little video course on how to make your first little video game with the Unreal Engine or something like that. And then you could do that, and then you're basically teaching someone a skill that they can then go publish their game, because that's super easy to do, publish their game, and then they already have passive income right there from that. And I gave that to them through my course that they bought. So that's what I'm saying, guys. There are so many things that you could do and that that you could go out and actually teach other people how to do it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a one-on-one session taking up your time every week or every day. You simply have to record some videos, come up with a great structure, maybe do a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced or something like that, depending on your own comfort level. Just be available to them to chat, to answer questions and stuff. And then voila, there you go. You have money coming in. You could sell your course for like $10 and post it on Facebook and other places. Go to Facebook groups, because that's the next part of this whole thing. The next part is, okay, Eric, I know what I want to do. I am a freelancer, or I'm doing a course, or I have a product or whatever that I want to sell that I'm making myself at home. What do I do? How do I advertise that? Okay, well, first of all, there are lots of ways, so many creative, free ways of advertising, especially right now, because it's like, you don't want to go and spend money if you don't know how to use paid advertising like Facebook or AdWords or anything like that. Don't waste your time on that unless you know how to do it. But if you don't know how to do it, don't do it. Don't start now. I would say what you should do is essentially use your own social media. Go to groups like Facebook groups. Go to forums. Go to Reddit. Go to Twitter. Go to other places. Now there are lots of groups in a lot of these places that do say you can't post anything, you can't do this, but there are way more creative ways of getting around that. Not necessarily posting it, but you could comment and recommend a website. That could be pointing to your website. You could comment and recommend a course. There's also plenty of groups that do allow that are okay with, if you've made a course or whatever, if you've made a class or whatever, that you can post. It has to be free though, but that's the thing. You could do a free version of your course, and then you could have a paid version, and then you would have a percentage of that free version that will go and pay for it. So you have to be creative. You have to come up and really don't keep yourself in a box. Really think about how far can I go? What am I interacting with? How committed am I to making this work? Because guys, the beginning part of it is always the hardest part of it. Always. I mean, unless you're super lucky or something, then it could be super easy that way. But the beginning part is always the hardest part, and that's just the way it goes for a lot of things. Whenever you start something new, whenever you're beginning anything, whether it's reading a book, doing a painting, I mean, talk about creative things, it has nothing to do with making money, and it's still difficult at the beginning than it is when you're already reaching the end and you're like, oh, last stroke, sign your name. It's the same thing with this. When you're learning something, the biggest thing is you. You are the biggest enemy against yourself. And that can be depression. That could be putting yourself down because maybe you think you're not doing good enough. Tons of things. But the thing is if you want it bad enough, you can get it. You always can. That's the way it works. If you want to make this succeed, if you want this to succeed, you got to work, and you have to know, and you have to be willing to sacrifice whatever it is that that's asked of, whatever it is. And sometimes it's not going to be worth it, guys. Sometimes the sacrifice is not going to be worth it, and that's the whole choice of the whole thing. It's not just simply about your own determination. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's risk, and you have to ask yourself, is the risk really worth taking? So the biggest thing is, though, stick with it, don't give up, keep going with it, even if it seems like you're losing. And then 3 months, at least let 3 months go by, and if you haven't made any money off of it, then okay, there's something going on. There's something that I need to do, or maybe this isn't for me. Okay, a few things that you can do that you can get started on, but it's not exactly going to pay off for you right now, or at least not in the next 2 or 3 weeks. You can get started on this. You can learn all you can. You can watch plenty of videos, watch lots of tutorial videos, and figure it out. So essentially, you can, a few things. There is writing a book. Simple. If you love writing, if you're an article writer or whatever, you can start by writing a book. Now, if you want to, or you could start by starting a blog, or you could start by, there's a lot of different ways. You could be super creative about it. Writing a book to a lot of people seems very much, I don't know, it seems like a big thing, but in reality, it doesn't have to be a big thing, guys. It doesn't. If you love it, then I'm sure you have a fantastic, awesome story just ready to come out and for the world to see. There's publishing, self-publishing services. So it's not hard to self-publish at all. It's not, the services are out there. Do not get scammed into buying a self-publishing package, because there's so many other great, inexpensive ways of publishing your book. Okay. There is music publishing. If you're an artist, and if you're an artist, just go find a room, you could even use your phone to record yourself. There's GarageBand, there's other great audio places. Just go in, start writing your own things, record a little thing, open it up in an audio app, go watch some tutorials on YouTube, or buy a tutorial course on Skillshare and learn how to edit your audio, learn how to edit your vocals, and publish it. There's lots of great publishing audio music distributors out there, sites and services that you can use, and it's essentially the exact same, and you get commissions, you get revenue, you get all that from them. And I'm saying, you get published on iTunes, all the major places, and you can even take your music and go and get it on radios, radio distribution, other channel distributions. There's a lot of different things you can do all from your computer right now if you have that skill, if that's something you love to do, as far as music and just recording and all that. Super great. And that doesn't take long at all. And if you have those skills, you could literally do that and you could start making money right now off of that. You would need a Facebook page, just start making up some hype. Again, you have Facebook groups and stuff you can go advertise for free in. You can really build a audience. And that also has to do with social media and all that. So that's something you can do. Something that's going to take longer is going to be something like affiliate marketing. Again, though, affiliate marketing, you can still create a website. You could create a brand around whatever the product that you're affiliated with. You can create an entire website around that. You can go on Facebook groups. You can do that whole thing. You could even do some, if you know how to advertise, you could do some Facebook ads, maybe some Google shopping ads, and really get that up and running. Because if you could get that up and running and your product is a good product and not some cheap product, then you could literally make passive income that way, and that could be very successful for you. But guys, the biggest thing to take away from this whole thing is it's not about is there a way for me to make money online? It's not about, do I have the time to make money online? Because don't tell me that, because right now we're all in quarantine. So there's I don't know, unless your house is a disaster or something, which I mean mine still needs some cleanup, so that would be fair. But eventually it's going to be clean, I would think, and then you would have some time. But it gets back to the whole thing. If you want it, then you can make time for it, or at least time to learn about it, to watch the videos, to read about it, and all that. So I think the biggest thing to take away from this video is not so much, okay, can I make money online? It's more about, do I want to? Do I want a passive income or an extra dish on the side type of income? Do I, am I afraid to get myself out there? Is this a giant step for me? Is this going to be something, does this terrify me in some way? Because it shouldn't terrify you. I mean, it might terrify you a little bit, but that's only because, well, for some people that I've talked to, it could be being afraid of actually being successful or being afraid of not being successful. It could be one or two of those things. That is completely based on how much you want it. And if you are already saying, I'm not successful from the beginning, then you're already canceling yourself out. You're already saying, oh, well, I've already lost. And you haven't even started yet. So don't even go there. Get started first. Do not measure yourself. Measure yourself based on how well you're pursuing it. If you're pursuing what you really want to do, then that is success right there. You're taking action. You're actually doing something. Okay? Okay, guys. Well, consider any questions you have. Let me know. I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. And I'll leave the link to those two websites that I've talked about, the Skillshare website, Upwork, and I do have a Facebook group that I just started. So if you want to join in on that, that's also in the description. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this great little live stream here. And I hope you guys have a great one. Have a good one. See ya.